7 and verse 6. And Elohim spake on this wise, that a siege should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage, and entreat them evil 400 years.
400 years. Who else has this testimony?
Nobody.
Who else? Nobody. Go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
What? Let's slow down on that one. Slow down on that one. Let's meditate on that one. Say that again.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Who is that nation? Who is that nation?
They call it Mystery Babylon.
Mm-hmm. Would the church tell us, have they told us what nation that is?
Come on.
This is the first book of the New Testament, of the age of the New Testament, Acts. This is the foundation of the church. Stephen was killed for saying this.
That's right.
He was killed for saying this. Doesn't that mean it's important?
It's very important.
But he said he had to seal that in his blood. I told y'all about the blood. Read it again, Art 6.
King. Verse 6. And Elohim spake on this wise, that a siege should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage.
Wait. Who's they?
They.
Who is they? Who's they?
Let's look up slave ship registers. Let's find out who they are.
Yes, let's look up who owned the slave ships. Who owned and financed the slave ships?
So, first thing that pops up, article from The Atlantic that said slavery and, scroll down.
Scroll down.
Ooh, yeah.
Keep going.
There it is, The Atlantic, 1995.
Man.
First thing that pops up on a Google search. And people are a little bit more honest in 95 than they are now. Paywall behind. It's a paywall, I guarantee. Yeah, they don't.
Read that, Aki.
Slavery and the Jews, a review of the secret relationship between blacks and Jews.
Why is it a secret? Why is it a secret?
Right.
Why is this a secret?
Yeah.
Who said not to talk about it?
Right.
Why can't we talk about it?
We got okay, we can read it. They're not gonna charge us for it. Almost as soon as it appeared in 1991, the secret relationship generated a controversy that centered more on its intentions than its scholarship. This is a good piece. The noise level was heightened in 1993 by the turmoil that swirled around Professor Tony Martin of Wesley College. A tenured professor in Wesley's Department of Africana Studies, Martin assigned to one of his classes portions of the book, which singles out Jews for special prominence in the Atlantic slave trade and for having played a particular prominent role in the enslavement of Africans in the Americas.
We can't talk about this. This is a secret.
Right.
It's such a secret that Donald Trump is willing to get rid of all of the curriculums in the United States of America that talk about our history and how we got here. That's how big of a secret this is. Go ahead, Donald.
Hey, this is anti-Semitic.
This is anti-Semitic.
It is.
You can't talk about such things. It's
1995. First article pops up is It's 30 years ago because we can't talk about it.
We can't talk about it.
Anymore, it's anti-Semitic.
This professor, Tony Martin, was accused of anti-Semitism and wrote a brief book,
The Magic Wand. The Magic Wand. So let's look at this really quick. He was accused of anti-Semitism. Okay, I'm gonna come back here really quickly and ask, but I want to go back to the last book of the New Testament again. We're gonna go back to Revelations. Let's read Revelations 3 and 9 again.
Revelation chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yahudim,
That's that they again, right?
and are not, but do lie.
But they lie. Okay, so we established the Messiah, who the word calls Christ, has established they lie about who they say they are. Now, I have a question. If this is the synagogue of Satan, do Satanists do magic?
Mm-hmm.
What's the most popular magic trick?
Spells.
Most popular when someone thinks of magic. What when people see a magician, what do they want to see first? They want to make somebody disappear.
I'm gonna make this rabbit disappear.
What?
That's right.
If people see a magician, the first thing they say, can you make this or that disappear? Now, this is the synagogue of Satan we're talking about. Who and what did they make disappear? Who? Yeah, they made us disappear.
Wow.
And then they appeared.
And then they
Stole
appeared.
our heritage.
Yes.
Made us disappear, and then they appeared.
Do lie. That sounds pretty anti-Semitic. Yehoshua sounds pretty anti-Semitic.
That's why it's a secret. So let's go back to it. It said, you can go ahead. This is a secret relationship. He was accused of anti-Semitism. That's the part you were talking about, Aki. That's a spell. When you hear that phrase, you are being put under a spell. Because the only anti that appears in the Bible is what?
Right.
And who are the antichrist? The ones that refuse to believe in him.
That's right.
The so-called Jews. That's the only anti that I've ever seen in my Bible. So now they have inundated us with their anti, but God's anti they refuse to acknowledge. We got to be concerned what they say is anti this or that. But what is anti-Christ? The people against the Messiah, the people who blaspheme his name in the Holy Land to this very day. We can't talk about that anti, the one that God says in Revelation. Only what they say, that's a spell. Now, does that mean that we have to hate anybody to proclaim who we are? No. Does that mean we have to mistreat people? No. Because the Bible still says, thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not covet. The Bible still says those things. thou shalt not murder. But we've never been the people to go and murder them. We've never done that. We don't even lie on these people. We don't steal from them. We don't do nothing. But they do all those things against us. And then on top of that, they call us anti-Semitic for saying, ouch, that hurts.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. He was accused of this spell, anti-Semitism. Go ahead.
He was accused of anti-Semitism and wrote a brief book to refute the charges. Now watch how this article spins this. The title of Martin's book, The Jewish Onslaught, Dispatches from the Wesley Battlefront, gave a clear preview of his opinions. It was a mixture of discussion, factual refutation, and angry recrimination. The last predominated, with paragraphs that open using language like, to the Jews and to their favorite Negroes who have insisted on attacking me, I say. See how they're playing this, man?
Mm-hmm.
His views on the secret relationship's use of historical materials amounted to a barrage of enthusiastic endorsements. Enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm. They didn't say false, and they didn't say a lie.
You just like it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, Martin's assertion that Jews were very much in the mainstream of European society as far as the trade in African human beings was concerned, see how they're playing us, making us sound like angry black men, was very close to what most Jewish scholars had claimed some 30 years
earlier than that, and that's in the 60s. But, hey, this was due to our ignorance because our people were fighting for civil rights in the 1960s. And we said, what did God say? To be holy, right? What does holy mean?
Set apart.
Separate. So our condition, let's read this. Daniel, let's go to the book of Daniel. I think Daniel chapter 9. Daniel 9. He says it wasn't. Is it? Yes. Daniel 9. Let's start at 9 and we're going to read 3 verses down. Well, let's start at 8. Daniel 9 and 8.
Okay. Daniel chapter 9, starting at verse 8. O Adonai, to us belongeth confusion of faith.
Confusion of faith. Who are the real Jews? Is it?
Y'all know where you're going. Come on now. Make the choice.
Confusion of face.
Confusion of face. Wow. Go back to them changing their names every.
That's confusion of face, right? He looked confused as he walked into the camera. Go ahead.
O Adonai, to to us belong a confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee.
And this is because we have sinned. Go ahead.
To Adonai, our Elohim, belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him.
So let's turn back and repent and turn to him, acknowledge him, worship him in spirit and in truth, keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, the faith of the Messiah, the true faith of the Messiah, not the one that they have indoctrinated us with. The true faith is different than what they have indoctrinated us with. Let's remember that. Go ahead.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yehovah our Elohim to walk in his laws.
The church said the law is done away with. Christianity told us the law is done away with, right? Go ahead.
Which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed our law.
All our people have transgressed the law, and Christianity has encouraged us to continue that. Because when we transgress the law, we're separated from the Most High. When we're separated from the Most High, our bondage continues. Go ahead.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice, therefore the curse is poured upon us. And the oath that is written in the law of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, because we have sinned against him.
And there go that oath again. There go that oath we talked about that was made in what?
Blood.
That's right. We can't escape it. You can pretend like it ain't real. You can say, I don't have to do this and I can do what I want to do, and that's fine, because he does give us free choice. But after your choice has been wasted,
Wow.
Puffy's choice was wasted.
That's right. That's right.
He's a billionaire, and it's all coming to naught. He made a choice. He chose to serve the devil.
That's right.
We got a choice, but you're gonna answer for it one way or the other. Go ahead.
And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole
Shemayim means heaven. Under the whole heaven
have not been done as have been done upon Israel.
There is nobody who had to suffer on this planet Earth the way we have had to suffer. So why am I saying this? I'm going to take it back to 1965. Nobody on earth suffered like we did, but we said, you know what? We're fighting for our rights. Let's invite the LGBT in.
That's right.
Let's invite the Jewish people in. Let's invite every other splinter group into our fight.
Confusion of face.
Even though none of them have gone through what we have gone through. So now we're in a time, because we did not act set apart, which that means what? Holy, because we were not holy. These same groups that we were buddy and we invited into this fight, they have all leapfrogged us. They were all able to use our plight and our pain and suffering to advance their causes, and then they have forgotten us. And we're still in the same position,
Right.
asking for the same things that we were asking for in 1965. Except this time our black leaders died for nothing. They were shot and killed and murdered and set up and all of this thing, and we didn't accomplish anything, but all the other groups accomplished something. So much to the point that during the last election, both politicians said, we ain't doing nothing for you black people. Figure it out. The Democrats said, we ain't doing nothing for you. Kamala Harris said, I ain't doing nothing for you black. Do I need to play that?
Go ahead.
I thought she was black.
The groups got something special. They get a flag underneath the United States flag.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In a certain period.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see it furrow
Mm-hmm.
throughout the country.
Everyone that we let in.
Standard, see, the flag is a standard.
Mm.
So now they set another standard underneath
that.
And not just in the country, in the embassies all across the world.
That's right. And we can't even have a black national anthem sing without them looking at mine. Oh man, what is going on?
You know what? This is it. Okay.
We had Jim Crow for almost a century.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery.
It's a yes.
She said, well, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Pretend like you identify with us. Okay, that's the first hustle.
Do you support reparations for black people?
This was
Well, listen,
in 2020. They asked, they support reparations, right? It's 2025, and as soon as she lost this and this other guy won, America's lost $10 trillion in like the first 2 months of his presidency. This is related to this. After 400 years, shall that nation be judged?
it's slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal to exist and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income.
She did with those same groups we talked about back then, that they identify without pain, but then they use that to their advantage, not ours.
We have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family.
It went from black people to poor people to people. Folks, this was about our people. Don't we deserve something finally?
Did an uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty. So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans. But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all society.
She was honest about that. Anything that's supposed to benefit us benefits them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they ain't gonna give it to us.
Yeah.
And she said, let's be clear about
Let's be clear about it.
Black people are the blessing for the world.
For the world. The seed of Abraham, all nations shall be blessed. But we ain't giving you nothing. Like I said, Abraham went in this land and he had no what?
Inheritance.
No inheritance. This is what we're watching in real time.
Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No, because what black families,
you got no money.
community and society.
But I thought she's black.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No, because all society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that.
Let's really be clear about it.
I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people.
And you see the motion and the damage on that. She
Like, what? That's what we talked about yesterday.
Right.
When it comes to us, everyone feels comfortable talking to us any kind of way.
Right.
Like with children.
Mm-hmm. She got
Allison?
yeah.
But that's that Howard bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be clear about that. Let's really be
This is the
clear.
part right here.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say, I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No. Whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country.
All right, so she ain't doing nothing. One side ain't doing nothing for us, and the other side definitely ain't doing nothing for us either. So let's see Trump take away Black history.
Wow. While you're looking that up, if anyone's ever been to the African American Museum at the Smithsonian, it's a beautiful museum. It's one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. It starts you off on the lower floor where you start in this dark pit of slavery.
Right.
And then you keep rising at every level as we go through our history. It's one of the most beautiful museums out there.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. President Trump taking aim at the Smithsonian Museum, saying that some of the exhibits and stories told are anti-American. He threatens the full.
There we go with another anti.
Never said.
Another anti.
Anti-American, anti-Christ.
When it comes to us and our people, there's antis all of a sudden. But they don't want to say anti-Christ in the things they do. But we have to worry about what they say is anti.
Taking aim at the Smithsonian Museum, saying that some of the exhibits and stories told are anti-American. He threatens.
And the stories told. Just telling the story of our history is a crime.
Full funding for what he calls the promotion of divisive, race-centered ideology. Joining us now is Dr. Omakando Davinga with Upstander International. He's also a political science professor at American University. Dr. Davinga, welcome back to Capitol Review. Thanks for having me. You hear the president say that history, a part of history, which I look at as Black history, is divisive. What's your reaction to the steps that the president is taking with this latest executive order?
It's very frustrating. And if you look at even his first term, when you look at the launching of the African American Museum, which became the most popular museum at the time, he toured the museum, but then head of the
And it became the most popular. As we say, we are the salt of the earth. What we do is what resonates. And then they imitate.
When you look at the launching of the African American Museum, which became the most popular museum at the time, he toured the museum, then head of the African American Museum, Lonnie Bunch, said it's a great job, great people doing incredible things, and now they're calling him a partisan Democrat, now because he runs the entire Smithsonian institution now, saying his book is garbage, he's trash, and that this museum is promoting anti-American ideology, and so it's very frustrating. We already do that yet. Racist ideas, many people call him racist within itself because of this policy, but now he's going full steam ahead with things that he didn't do in his first term.
To go full steam ahead, is this to make certain segments of the population feel better? Because some say it's not going to affect their bottom line, it's not going to bring down the prices of groceries, it's not going to help them live better lives financially.
Right. This is not going to benefit the economy, government, race relations, anything, but they're going to do it. So we don't have friends on either side. Both sides want to take from us. Let me pull up that video.
And now back to what brought us to Washington, the completion of the 19th and newest Smithsonian Museum.
It has been 100 years in the making. The Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture is about to open its doors to the public. I just love saying that. Yesterday, Nora and I joined Lonnie Bunch, the museum founding director, for a tour of what makes this place so very special, inside and out.
On the wall, it's mainly white marble, but couldn't you something that gave a little color to this.
In more ways than one.
Well, and that's what I realized.
Wrapped in bronze and inspired by the three-tiered crowns used in West African art, the National Museum of African American History and Culture shines brightly near the center of the National Mall.
This is a cabin from Edisville Island, South Carolina.
But to get a sense of the African American experience, you have to go below the surface, 5 stories down.
At its peak, you would hold between 8 and 16 people would be in that cabin.
A cabin for slaves and shackles small enough to restrain a child, were reminders of America's regretful past.
After World War II, the notion of sit-ins really caught on.
While a stool from a Greensboro, North Carolina lunch counter represents a resolve to move beyond segregation.
What I see is something very simple. Sitting in a chair is transformative.
This museum will challenge your emotions. Tears will be shed here. But there's joy to be found too.
Gotta say this, okay, cool.
Like Chuck Berry's cherry red Cadillac.
Did you sit in the
Now,
crowd?
you're supposed to treat artifacts with respect. Of course I said it.
About 40,000 artifacts have been collected. The fact that less than 10% of it is on display is emblematic of the pride and dedication that made this museum a reality.
So 40,000 artifacts. Now, I just want to show you something really quickly. Okay. So Black Smithsonian. Returns artifacts.
Wow.
They started returning the artifacts already.
Goodness gracious.
And I want you to see something. Hopefully this will tell us what they removed.
And multiple sources have confirmed to WUSA 9 that the Smithsonian Institution is starting to remove certain artifacts from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Reverend Dr. Amos Brown tells us that he received an email from the Smithsonian Institution this month informing him that the artifacts that he donated to the Museum of African American History and Culture were being returned. That includes a Bible Brown carried.
What did they return first? What did they return first? Why did they return it?
Wow.
I'm going to play it again for those who may have missed that. What did they return first?
It was very anti-racist.
Yes.
Museum of African American History and Culture were being returned. That includes a Bible Brown carried during demonstrations with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesse Jackson.
Wow.
Dishonest excuse was because they were under too much light.
And to be clear, you never asked for these books back, correct?
No. No, we're not going to let nobody tell us what we can't read
That's right.
and what we can't celebrate.
Can't read.
Right. So we're going back to the foundation of this nation. That the foundation, we couldn't read the Bible, and they're trying to take us back to that because the Bible tells us who they are. So now that they're trying to take our heritage away from us, this is why we're gathered here today. Okay. And I'm not going to go all the way into it because I don't want to make this very long. But the reason we're gathered here today is to remember our heritage. Our heritage that they can't take away is our blood covenant with the Most High God. And he said on this day that we should gather together and honor him. And remember him by baking 2 loaves of bread. The bread is the living word of the Most High. Let's go through that, right? Because I know it's getting later. Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23, and let's start at 9.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 9. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruit.
I'm sorry, this is the wrong location. Excuse me.
Chapter. Here's
21, right.
so maybe what? 20?
Mm-hmm.
She'll sacrifice 16 hours. I'm sorry, 20.
Does it mention the bread?
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second, family. I just want to get the right passage that I'm looking for. Okay. 15. Okay. Yes. Deuteronomy 23.
15.
Let's start at verse 15. Thank you.
Gang. Just Deuteronomy or Leviticus?
Oh, sorry. Leviticus. I'm very sorry. Leviticus 15.
Leviticus chapter
23.
23.
Sorry.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Shabbat, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Shabbats shall be complete.
Mm-hmm.
Even unto the morrow,
7 Sabbaths. 7 is the number of holiness and perfection multiplied by itself.
That's right.
This is a very important day for God, the Most High, to reveal revelation. This is like the Spirit of God multiplied, or the Spirit of God squared, right? Go ahead.
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Shabbat shall ye number 50 days.
50 days. This is Pentecost in the New Testament. Go ahead.
And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh.
A cookout. Guess what? The Most High God gives us cookouts.
Yeah.
You should be careful when you invite to the cookout. But not everybody's invited to the cookout no more. Okay? We tried it. It didn't work. It doesn't work. Stop inviting everybody to the cookout that don't belong. We put these people on our back and invited them. They got the rights. They got legislation. They got restitution. None of their restitution is being taken away from them. Our museum is being stripped from us. I didn't even get a chance to go to it yet. How many of you got a chance to even go to it yet? It is being taken away. Because whatever man gives you, man can take away. Let's go.
And 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 10 deals.
So what we have here, thank God for our beautiful sisters. They have been making loaves of bread to commemorate this time. The Messiah, Yehoshua, who the world calls Jesus, is the living bread.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yahweh.
Mm-hmm. But this loaf is 2 loaves representing, really in these times, the 2 witnesses, the last 2 prophets of the Most High God that are going to reveal themselves soon. Just like Abraham and Sarah were waiting on that promise, we're waiting on that promise.
Yeah.
They're coming. We need to get our household and our faith in order. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs
Let's
without,
read 17 again.
and ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves.
2 wave loaves. So this priests in the Old Testament would wave it from side to side when they're offering it, and up and down in the shape of a cross.
Wow.
The tau, I should say. The tau, which the world calls the cross. This is the last letter of the Hebrew letter, tau. Go ahead.
Of 2/10 eels. They shall be of fine flour, they shall be baked with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish.
This is the thing that the Most High said. Forget turkey and ham on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do what the Most High says to do.
That's right.
So we can have our true Independence Day. Aren't you tired of this?
Yeah.
See, the Most High said eat lamb, and then the white man said don't eat ham. These are our holidays, our spiritual holy holidays, which are holy days. We have did a bait and switch, and we kept what they said to keep. And we're giving thanks to the God of the world on Thanksgiving for keeping us in slavery. The Pilgrims were thanking their God for beating the Indians and enslaving the Africans. And they gave an offering of Thanksgiving, and then they had us sit down and eat with it. Aren't you tired of that now that you know what it means?
Come on, yo.
And now that we know what it means, what's the first thing they want to take away from us again? The Bible. Kamala Harris said, I ain't doing nothing for you. And Trump said, I'm taking the Bible back from you woke black people.
Wow. Wow.
That tells you, Egypt probably ain't no threat to the white man.
That's why they popped it.
Right. He ain't take away the Quran, he ain't take away nothing, he took away your Bible. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto Jehovah.
Sometimes I like my edges a little crispy.
Already.
Before you get to grill, some of those pieces are really good. Go ahead.
With their meat offering.
With their meat offerings.
And their drink offering.
And a little bit of drink, you can have something to drink.
Yeah.
But we'd rather do it on Christmas.
No.
Go ahead.
Even an offering made by fire.
A barbecue.
Come on.
A grill, a cookout by fire. Why do you think it's in our blood to do these things and have cookouts? The other nations don't have cookouts. Right. We have cookouts because that's in our blood.
Right.
It's from here. Go ahead.
Of sweet savor unto Jehovah, barbecue sauce.
There you go.
Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs.
That's for our Caribbean brothers and sisters. They're going to do the goat, right?
Hurry it up.
All right.
And 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of shalom offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before Jehovah. With the 2 lambs, they shall be Kodesh to Jehovah for the priest.
For the priest. So again, we got 2 lambs representing the 2 witnesses.
Come on.
We are waiting for them. We're hoping for that return. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I could go further, but I know y'all want to eat. This is a feast day. I don't want